All right. Hello and welcome to How Do You Drew?
This is a Drew Barrymore podcast brought to you by thedrewsium.com.
And sponsored by our friends at Positive Medium.
I'm Anne.
And I'm Ashley.
And hello, everyone. Welcome to
Hello,
episode
hello.
39, which is 13 times 3. Other than that, I got nothing.
Wow. I was like, wait, is it? Yeah, it
is. Sometimes my brain's just like, how can I make this number that's odd into something that makes me happy?
Oh, I love that. Every episode we start geeking about numbers. It's great.
Yep.
This is going to be a Q&A episode. So that's going to be fun. We'll get into it. Yeah.
No, I don't know. This is going to be a questiony ride.
Questionable ride.
Yeah, that too.
Got a couple follow-ups from, I think, just the last episode. So one thing we talked about last episode was the amazing photos from Drew's 21st birthday party.
Yes.
That were printed or going to be printed in a new book, The Photography of Dave Markey. Mm-hmm. And I was looking at the picture of the whole dinner table, like everybody at this dinner table. And there's this guy and I was like, I don't know why. I'm not familiar with what he even looks like, but I think that's Tim Armstrong from Rancid. I'm like, why do I think that? Like, I truly don't know him.
Ashley, I should have been the one to recognize him.
Well, maybe your brain funneled into mine.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
So I Googled his name in 1996 and I found a bunch of pictures of him in the same jacket. So it's him.
Literally, there's no questioning that he's there at Drew's 21st birthday, which is so cool.
Yeah, I thought that was just a fun piece of trivia to throw out there.
It also just gives Drew some 90s cred that she didn't it. She didn't need it. She didn't need it.
Just further proves her 90s queen status.
Absolutely.
How about that?
Yes. So what did you find out about that Albert Watson photograph of Val Kilmer from Details? Because you said that, so you said that we got it a little bit off.
I got it wrong because I said I was pretty sure he said there was no Photoshop involved. That part's right. But I thought he said he did, film developing trick.
Yep.
But I went back to the post about it and what he said was, and yes, Val was actually hanging upside down a la Batman for the photo taken in the days before Photoshop. And then somebody asked and said basically what I had thought, that it was a film developing thing.
Yeah.
And Albert said, we don't like to reveal all darkroom secrets, but gravity boots were involved.
Okay. So I think I said I totally was picturing him actually hanging.
Yeah, you were right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just a little oopsie daisy. I had to correct myself because I don't like getting things wrong.
Yeah. I see for the first time in a while we've got some mail.
You've got mail.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to talk about this one. So first of all, there is this podcast called Scandal Water. I think they kind of focus on Hollywood scandals, but they had a new episode on the Barrymores.
Cool.
And I haven't listened to it yet, but I'm planning on it because I'm just not in the car that often right now. And that's my podcast time.
Yep.
But anyway, one of the hosts who also happens to be named Ashley, shout out.
All right.
I connected with her on Instagram and she had the nicest things to say. So
she goes by @Miss Ashley RB on Instagram. And Ashley said, oh my goodness, your profile's amazing. And the podcast name is punny and perfect. Oh, thank you. I'm adding you to my listen list. Hey, so are we to yours.
Yeah.
Love meeting fellow Drew fans. I'm listening to your NBK, which has never been cast, episode now. I always loved that movie. I identified with Josie Grossi a lot back in school. You all are doing a great job. I love all your insights and connections. The hard work paid off. Yeah. Thank you so much. That was very nice. And coming from another podcaster, that's really cool. Thank you.
This was across several comments and I just kept copy and pasting. This is so nice. This is so nice. This is what we would love to hear. So thank you, Ashley, and everybody go listen to Scandal Water, the episode on the Barrymores. So I'm sure it's going to be great.
Very cool. Thanks again. So
all right.
What did Drew profess her love for that you witnessed in the past week?
I love love.
So there's not that many because we are basically it looks like done with the show. There was like one new episode that came out just about the new issue of Drew magazine, and that's been it. So I've only got a couple, and I pulled some from the magazine as well.
Oh, cool. Perfect.
So Drew loves dumplings,
Okay.
which made me laugh because I thought of that quote about her on the field at fever pitch, feeling like a dumpling rolling out of control.
Yes.
Yuzu, which I had to look up. Were you familiar with that?
Well, yuzu, I thought it was like a type of citrus.
Yeah.
That is like extracted into sauces.
Okay, that's what it is. Drew also loves starting her day by pulling word cards. So this is one of the things in Drew magazine. I didn't look this up, but there's this person named Elena Brower who apparently has a daily ceremony deck.
That's cool.
Drew also loves packaging design and visual language, which I thought was cool.
That's cool.
And Drew loves getting to eat outside, which I totally relate to.
Depends on if there's sun in my face, then I'm like, no.
I ate outside last night at my friend Angie's, and it was like perfect. We call it patio weather. They have a great backyard area, and it was just, I just kept going, it's so perfect out. Oh my God, it's so perfect out. Like I couldn't stop. I was so happy.
Yep. Getting to eat outside is also on Ashley's love list this week.
Al fresco.
Oh, yes. You're going to dine al fresco?
I'm so fancy.
So what did you pull out for this week in Drew history?
Okay, let's go back to June 6th, 1999. Okay. And Drew attended the A Time for Heroes carnival.
It's like a charity carnival, right? Because we talked about this a few times.
Yeah, it's the Elizabeth Glaser Pediatric AIDS Foundation. So this was the 5th year in a row that Drew attended. As far as we know, this was the last. I'm not sure if that's even an event that still happens, but
yeah,
In Style always covered this event.
And always had really cute pictures of Drew.
Yeah. So Drew was pictured with Lily Sobieski. This was like, right as Never Been Kissed was coming out.
Yep.
And then also there's a great photo of her essentially like running into Jamie Walters and her like shocked, like, oh my God, face.
And I actually just realized all of our discussions recently about Jamie have changed my feelings about that picture.
Yeah.
Because like how intense she seemed to have felt about that breakup.
Right.
Like, and she probably hadn't seen him since then.
I know. And it had only been
7 years.
7 years.
I mean,
yeah.
But that's recent compared to how long it's been since then.
Yeah.
Like when we think recent in our minds, we're like, yeah, like 2010.
I know.
I can totally picture the picture. And I think when I saw it in 1999, I was like, oh, an ex, like how cute. Like, so totally didn't think about it much beyond that. Like now I'm like, wow, like it's like seeing a major ex.
Yeah, I wonder how she felt. And then she had her cute, like she was wearing a lot of braids in her hair in 1999. I was really into that. I like that look. And it's just a super casual jeans. And
I was going to say, like, she was at her most casual at this point. It was like a lot of jeans. She's wearing like Adidas slides in this, or maybe not Adidas, but she's wearing like slide sandals with socks.
I know, it's so funny.
She looks probably like, and I mean this with love, like the geekiest that she's ever looked. Like, I think she was really embracing like comfort and being herself and all that at this point, in a way, like when she had like glamorous events, if there were any, like she wasn't like dressing up as much as she did in the earlier 90s or like much later when she was really going to like glamorous events. So this is just very much like we're seeing like Drew as herself in 1999.
Perfectly described. I think you're so right.
Okay, so what's new with Drew?
All right. So we have a new flower beauty photo shoot was done. Cool. Kind of had to peek around to find out. I know that the makeup artist, Lisa Houghton, I think is how you pronounce her name. She works with Drew a lot, and she was the first one who posted that they were doing something together for Flower Beauty.
Cool.
And then a model by the name of Rachel Shea, she posted on TikTok a really cool behind the scenes video that we just watched together.
So cool. I hadn't seen it, but I actually posted some little screenshots in our notes and I was like, what am I looking at? Drew looks so cute.
Yeah, it's a very different, like, we're so used to seeing her look on the show with the suits and like the big waves in her hair and stuff. And this is very very different. She's in jeans again.
Yep. So she's embracing jean life. I love that we have jeans from 1999 and
I know.
then jeans from 2023.
I was thinking that too.
Weird when there was such a huge gap where like we didn't see her in jeans.
Yeah. If you guys want to watch the video, it's at Rachel Shea _ on TikTok. And you'll notice that the models are all hanging out in a bathroom, sitting on a bathtub that might look familiar because it's the same bathtub that was used in the mac and cheese photos in the new Drew magazine.
Yep, good call.
So we're kind of learning that there's this space that Flower or Barrymore Brands has, and they're doing all kinds of photo shoots in this space. We think the Tidy Cats one was also done in this location.
I was just going to say, we were just speculating about that because it makes sense. The amount of like different things that Drew is like working to promote at once. They described something in like, what article was it? Was it
I think it was LA Times. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where they were like, okay, she was doing like several different shoots in one space. So we're like, yeah, I think we're getting a peek into it, and it's really cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. So what else?
Drew also attended the Taylor Swift concert in New York, and she posted this whole long thing. She obviously really loved it. She took her daughters and her niece, Sadie, ex-niece. I don't know how you would say that.
Yeah, she still seems like she's in the fam now.
Yeah. Anyway, she posted this love letter to Taylor about how much she enjoyed it and seeing her daughters and their cousin enjoy it so much.
Yeah, it was really cute. I like how there was the one picture of her, and I was kind of like wondering who took that picture of her.
Kind of looks like she might have taken it of herself.
I thought that too.
Yeah. There were some pictures someone snapped of her like in a backstage area with Gordon Ramsay and Olive. I think I remember like knowing that Olive really likes Gordon Ramsay. I could totally be wrong, but there's some cute pictures of her like meeting him. And then I loved your comment. More jeans. We're on jean watch, I guess.
But these are like massive. So if you were around in like the late 90s and you remember Jinkos,
yeah,
these straight up looks like she's wearing Jinkos. And I know that she over time, like she wears like every once in a while, like I can think of a lot of instances in like 2001 where she wears very wide leg pants that cover her shoes.
Yeah, it's like the Gumby pants.
Yes, exactly. So she's got like, they look like Jinkos.
I know, it's great. I kind of feel like she was in disguise too, because she has like a big rimmed hat and like glasses.
Yeah, totally.
Not disguised, but trying to be a little incognito, which I don't blame her for.
I'm sure she didn't want to bring attention to herself. She's trying to do something for her kids and enjoy herself. And, you know, she didn't want to be, I mean, what would Drew wear? This makes me think. What would Drew wear if she wanted people to recognize her?
Oh, man.
Not a hat and not glasses.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Well, she is wearing something that is very what we think of as current Drew in the next thing. So she made an appearance in the Bentonville, Arkansas Walmart. I think that's where Walmart's based.
Yep, that makes sense.
I'm not totally sure what she was doing there, but related to Beautiful, of course.
And it looks like a business meeting in the middle of a store. It looks really funny.
Yeah.
So it's funny you say like, oh yeah, this is like recognizably Drew, like Drew Barrymore Show Drew right now, are these like kind of like light toned suits.
Yeah.
And I like this one in the picture, look kind of like light sage green, but it is very like, I'm 48-year-old Drew Barrymore, you know, like
yeah,
in the best way.
And probably one of the things they were talking about, there's a new Beautiful, they're calling it the Hero Pan because it has a bunch of uses in one pan, which Drew's always talked about being something she loves.
Happy to see it in their line.
Awesome.
Howdy Drewbies.
We want to tell you about our sponsor, Positive Medium. We've actually been clients of theirs for at least 10 years, and they take care of all of our website needs for thedrewsam.com.
They offer custom web design and professional coding, search engine optimization, marketing, and hosting. So we've been hosted by them, but we've also been able to take advantage of a lot of their expertise in these other areas as well.
Absolutely. So customer service is the biggest draw for us with this company. They have saved our site literally from obliteration quite a few times. But then they also help us with minor issues in just like literally a matter of minutes. So if we have like a coding question or just like something on the back end we can't figure out, we reach out to them and we get an answer back and the issue is solved within moments.
We're so excited that Positive Medium is allowing us to offer our listeners 25% off managed WordPress hosting plans using our promo code DREW, DREW, of course. And if you want to take advantage of this, visit positivemedium.com. We really, really vouch for these people. They've been so great to us and will continue to be great to us. I can only imagine.
I mean, they're great by offering this to our listeners. So take advantage. Again, it's promo code DREW, of course.
Okay, I think we're ready for this weekly topic, our questions and answers. Yes?
Yeah. So, gosh, you noticed it's been 5 months since we've done one of these. So,
yes,
we just thought we'd switch it up a little, give ourselves a break from research mode, and just have a fun little Q&A.
Yeah, that sounds like something nice for me as the editor and you as the researcher. We can just kind of pop in, use our brains a little bit.
I will note it that the previous episode we did this on was number 21. If you want to listen to that, it's actually one of our most popular episodes, which always surprises us. Not what we expect, but we'll see if people like this one too.
Yep.
Let us know.
I hope so. Although I always like Q&A episodes on other podcasts, so it's kind of fun for us to be able to hop on and do it again.
Yay.
All right, so we kind of have these into like sort of little segments. We're going to start with questions that people ask about us or about us as fans.
Perfect.
And do you want to start by asking us the first question?
Sure. So the first question comes from @OSnap by Sierra on Instagram. And OSnap asks, have you ever met Drew? And yes, we have. Lots of times.
Many, many times. We've been very fortunate. If you want to read a couple of the stories, we should have probably written this down, but on our website, there's a section called Drew Encounters. So if you go to thedrewsium.com and go to the section about us and then Drew Encounters, is that correct?
Yeah.
And then we have an episode where we talk about some of our Drew Encounters. So I want to get that episode number for you.
I think it's 16.
Okay, cool. You found it faster. So yes, we did talk about it. I wish we had a count because I actually don't know how many times we have like been around her.
Well, the encounters page lists them all except for probably my most recent one.
Yeah, that's true. So we could, I mean, it's not really about the count, I guess, but what we can say right now is that many times we've been in her presence, but not really had much of a chance to talk to her. There are some really special occasions where we have had a chance to like have a conversation with her. So we are very, very fortunate.
Yeah, I think maybe like our next time that we tackle this subject, we should talk about the time that we got to deliver gifts to her at Flower Films.
Yeah.
Because that was probably the best, most special one.
We did actually talk about that on our previous Q&A.
Okay.
But I'm always happy to talk about that.
Okay.
Okay, so this is kind of follow-up. So I moved it up a little bit. Or kind of fits in. So we answered this last time as well, but our friend Katie asked when was the last time we saw Drew. And even though we answered it before, we thought we would just kind of put a little reminder right here for the newbies.
Yeah. My last time I was lucky enough in September 2021 to attend the Drew Barrymore Show taping in LA at Paramount. And our Drewsium honoree member Jolena was able to come with me. Unfortunately, Anne was in Maine. Yeah, and when we told Drew that, she said, "Gosh darn it."
Well, I'd like to think she actually knows who you were talking about, but also
she did.
I know. I'm just like, how could she know? It's so strange. And the last time I saw Drew was when Wildflower was released. We went to a signing at Barnes & Noble at the Grove in LA, and it was November 2015.
I can't believe it's been that long for you.
I know. It's too long. Drew, I'm on the East Coast, so if you want to hang, like, I'll come hang with you wherever you are. Or you could take your private jet up here.
Yeah, you could host her.
Yeah, that's true.
Love it. All right. Our next question comes from Timo, and Timo asks, how do you think Drew changed your lives? Ooh, I didn't like prepare an answer to this. That's a big question.
I just kind of casually put it in the beginning because, I thought we'll just off the cuff be able to talk about this.
I mean, I can. And I have mentioned this before in other episodes, but she has definitely made me be a more positive, less judgmental, happier, just uplifting type of person. I feel like I totally tried to take on those traits when I started getting into her. So that would be the biggest. there's of course like a million other ways. And obviously like meeting you and other friends through being a fan of hers has changed my life massively.
Yep. So I'm going to go ahead and put the like other people in my life that have been brought to my life by Drew as like my primary, but partially because, and I'm not trying to say like I am as good as Drew, but I identify with Drew in so many ways that I don't think how I am as a person changed. Like,
okay,
I am first and foremost a people pleaser, and I also have very low self-esteem. So a lot of the things about like Drew, the way she is, the way she like uplifts those around her, like makes herself like a servant to people's happiness, you know, like that. I mean, I didn't mean to put it that way, but it's also like I identify with that. So I think the way she changed my life is by connecting to other people who love and appreciate people like that, you know, like who understand somebody who, I don't know, maybe I'm like giving it too much, but I also like two of my best friends are Drewbies that I met on the internet. So it's like, I can't not like notice that there's something there and that Drew made that impact by being herself.
Very cool.
So Christian asked, do you guys have plans to watch Drew in New York? And I think I know what he means. I think we have kind of teased that we would love to go see a taping of Drew's show in New York City.
The main factor keeping us from doing that right now is probably me and my new baby. Yep. I totally would have loved to have made that happen before, but that didn't happen.
Yep. But we know they have a season coming up, so we'll see how the future year goes.
Just kind of waiting for the show to invite us on. That would make things easier. I couldn't say no if that happened.
Absolutely. There is a part of us that's like, that will happen, and then we'll have accommodations and flights taken care of too.
Exactly. That's what I'm waiting for.
We're not rich off this podcast quite yet. So the answer is we do have tentative future hopeful plans to do that.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay. Alex, who runs the wonderful Instagram at Scream Style Sleuth. If you're at all interested in film costumes or Scream, the franchise, check it out. Alex asks, tell us about an item you don't have in your collection yet, but want. Any holy grails? So you noted that we had answered a similar question on our previous Q&A, but we'll talk about it again just in case. One of my big things I would love to have, and I don't think I have any, would be like production Polaroids, that like the continuity ones they take on the set of films. Especially Scream. There are some out there I have seen, and I would love to have them if anyone wants to give them up to me.
And I just wanted to note, like, production Polaroids are taken for all kinds of things. Like, it's like makeup, costume, you know, the setup of the scene, where people are, it's like all kinds of things. So I just like, my mind sort of started to explode when I realized like
how many
we know like Kim has some amazing ones. So hi Kim, if you're out there.
Kim's from the set of Charlie's Angels, like are incredible.
Yes, let's just call out our episode with Kim Green again. What episode is it?
20, number 20.
Okay, thank you. I mean, that's just a great episode. We love her, and so like thinking about like, oh my god, just Kim's production photographs alone. I
know. Oh my gosh, Kim, if you ever feel like, you know, lightening your archives, just give us a buzz.
Just give us a buzz, no big deal. We also just wanted to say like any production stuff is like fair game for stuff that we
love that.
We did previously talk about the guest books as kind of like a holy grail item. I mean, we both have that, so it's a really rad thing. I couldn't think of anything else really new that we hadn't mentioned before, like something new we became aware of, but
yeah, we've got like a couple magazines, like a couple Miu Miu ads.
Yep.
And then just like things that we've never seen before, like a photo, if a photo comes out we've never seen before and it's actually like a legitimate print, like we want it.
You just got a really cool Bad Girls.
Yeah, it's actually in my mailbox. I need to go get it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so it will be really neat to like always be looking out for new stuff.
Yeah.
So we don't have like a new really juicy answer for this, but anyone who's involved in like production of Drew's previous movies, hit us up if you don't want your old papers that you got sitting around.
I love it.
Yes. All right, so we're kind of going to jump now to questions that are about Drew. So just fun little things that we might be able to give people some insight into.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so the first question we've got is from Katie, and she asks, do you think she'll write another book? And I think she will,
yes,
but
me
partly
too.
because we know there are just more stories to tell.
Yeah, especially going off of like the way she sort of was in her interviews with Jeanette McCurdy and Selma Blair and Brooke Shields. Like,
yes,
I definitely get the sense she's got some things about her mom that she's holding on to that could come out one day. We'll see.
I hope that they do.
Yeah.
Or I would love to see her do another photography book. Like,
yeah,
you know,
Katie actually asked that, like, followed up and said the same thing, that she would like to see a photography book, which
cool.
Yeah,
like, I would
we
love
know.
to see if we had, like, I just realized it would be so cool if we had a catalog of the pictures that were shown at that Mocha event. Like, even just that, like, why was there not like a printed catalog?
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Oh my God, I'm just like wondering, like, was there?
No, we wouldn't have been able to miss that.
I mean, we would love it, but we have no real like insight. But I totally think that she would.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think we'll see another one. Our resident 13-year-old Mila, she submitted a question. Thanks, Mila. She said, "What's Drew's favorite color?" And then she immediately said, "Is it yellow?" I was like, "Well, yeah, you just ran that. So why did you even ask?"
Has she actually said that's her favorite color?
Yeah.
Okay, because I was going to say I could like see her saying like every color of
the rainbow.
Yeah. Obviously we know yellow's kind of like her theme, happy color. Is that why she says it's like because it's so happy? Yeah.
Exactly.
I think I've grown to like yellow.
Me too.
But yeah, so good job, Mila, on getting that right away. You truly are a Drewbie in training.
Whether you want to be or not.
Yes. Okay, so next question we have is from @softdress on Instagram. Asks, what's her favorite chip flavor and or snack of choice? And then we have a bonus question of what is ours.
Ooh.
So chip flavor, there was something recent she posted that might have been like an ad for a chip company though, right?
I don't think it was, because it was like the chips and Coca-Cola.
Oh, that's right. So what was that?
I don't know what the brand was, but the flavor, I paused it and checked, and it was kettle chips that were sweet onion.
Oh,
yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
I do like those sweet onion, like Maui ones.
Yeah, that's sort of what I was thinking along those lines. But snack of choice, we had to really think about this one because Drew loves almost all foods. Yes. We're like, snack, like what snack does she keep talking about? And right now I feel like pickles has come up really
frequently.
Thank you. Frequently.
It was funny when I became aware of this question. I was like, I feel like I'm failing our audience if we don't know her favorite snack. And I was like, I can't think of it. Like, it felt like, honestly, I was like panicking about our actual knowledge of Drew.
I had to think about it for like quite a while.
Yeah. So pickles, was there anything else we speculated?
We saw there was like a whole TikTok of her with pretzels, like all different kinds. I mean, she just loves food, right? So
yes. So I think she's kind of like, will eat anything.
Yes, except for, and I told you the three things she hates.
Chocolate.
Oh, I don't know if those are still
oh, okay.
Yeah, those are like old things.
School.
Yeah.
Okay, what are the new things? What are the things she won't eat?
She won't eat lamb, truffles, or goat cheese. So,
I forgot about those.
Yeah, all three of those she really hates.
All right. So I think she's probably just like a equal opportunity food eater at this point, especially because she sort of started to abandon, like, she's not vegetarian anymore, but I think she tries to eat meat sparingly and fish sparingly. But those Maui onion chips, I kind of want some of those right now.
So what are your favorite snacks?
Ooh. I'm kind of like, I like all snacks too. I know you're pretty consistent, so go ahead and answer and I'll think about mine.
Right now I'm on a pretty big kick of Granny Smith apples and cheddar cheese, like together.
I feel like that's a big thing for you a lot of times, right?
I love apples and cheese. Yeah, it's a pretty regular thing, but that's like an almost everyday snack right now that I'm doing.
Okay, mine's always just like random because I like trying new things, but right now I'll say I'm really loving like veggie stick chips.
Oh yeah,
those like they look
Mila
like French fries. Yeah, so I have some of those right now and I love them. But I'm always like going back and forth. Like I'm gonna want like some chocolate, and then I'm gonna want
salty, then sweet.
Yeah,
yep.
So I'm a salty sweet rotator. And
me too.
It's an endless and terrible cycle, or is it wonderful? I mean, food is great.
Depends on how you look at it.
Yes.
Okay, next question comes from @MatthewLillardOnline. Great Instagram. And the question is, would you like to see Drew in films again? And yes. I don't know.
You seem like not sure.
Like, I don't want her to just like do something just to do it. Yeah. Like I know she really wants to do something with Adam Sandler again. Would love that. I wasn't really into Blended, so I hope it would be something a little better, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think I kind of have a similar answer, and it is that I hope that she does it because it's like something that she absolutely feels called to do.
Yes, that's
and
the way.
And not just
that's
like
perfect.
for the heck of it. I'm not sure how she felt about like stand-in. She hasn't really talked about it. So it's like,
I think it's pretty clear she didn't feel great about it because she didn't talk about it.
Yeah. So like if it's a situation where she like is not 100% completely into it, like she's got so much stuff going on. The answer is yes, we would definitely like to see Drew in a film again.
When the time is right and the right project.
You're right. Like Blended was like it wasn't as good as The Wedding Singer. It wasn't as good as First Dates. That's just a fact.
Yeah, I don't know how anybody could argue with that.
But it's kind of hard to like compete. Those are both really great films.
Yeah.
And then the one thing I would love to see, and we talked about this in our Q&A episode, was like, what type of film would we like to see Drew in that we haven't really seen her in or haven't seen her in as much? And both of us were talking about like thriller type films or possibly like something serious. And since Adam has been doing like leading his acting toward more serious roles, maybe there's a possibility that they could have a little bit more of that. So I'm just throwing it out there.
Why don't they just circle all the way back to the beginning and go do that Frigid and Impotent movie?
Perfect. You know what? We're ready for that. Okay, so the next little section is still about Drew, but these people who submitted questions, they kind of directed questions at Drew. So we're going to just kind of either answer as us or answer how we assume Drew would feel about these things.
Because believe it or not, guys, we are not Drew. Believe it or not.
We are not. So our first question directed at Drew is from @DiosAmaris on Instagram. And they asked, would you like someone to recreate your movies, such as Never Been Kissed, etc.?
Ooh, so remakes.
Yeah, so are we going to speculate how Drew would feel about a remake?
Yeah, let's speculate how Drew would feel. I feel like, for the most part, I don't think she'd really be into it. I think she kind of likes projects to like be as they are.
Me too.
You know, there have been different Charlie's Angels iterations now, and she was supportive of those. Oh, I guess there also was Firestarter.
Oh, that's true.
And she was supportive of that too. I don't know. Okay, maybe we don't know what we're talking about.
Maybe we don't know what Drew would like, but my instinct is like, no, leave things as they are. So you're thinking of like what we think that Drew would want. That's what we want. So we're just prescribing that to Drew.
We also have another question directed towards Drew. This comes from Alan. Alan asks, when will you let your hair go back to blonde again, Drew? I ask her that question a lot too. No.
Yes. But also I like this idea, like, when will you let your hair go back to blonde? As if her natural shade, like if she just left it to go. I mean, I'm not making fun of you, Alan, but you've got to understand, like, yes, she was blonde as a kid. She has become a brunette woman. I
mean, she started dyeing it blonder in 1983. So
that's true. We've talked about this many times because Ashley is a huge Drew as a blonde fan.
It's been so long.
I'm just into any kind of exploration of her hair color. So we're rooting for it.
We would like a change, but it sounds like she's pretty set on. She's found what she likes. She's found what works for her, and she's going to stick with it.
Yeah, and I understand that.
Yeah, obviously I do too. I don't change my hair either, but we miss the days of Drew's ever-changing hairstyles.
Yep, exactly. Okay, so last chunk of questions are about our podcast. So about how do you Drew?
Yay.
So this first question, or second question by this person, @OSnapSierra asked, why did you decide to do a podcast about her?
Well, because we have an infinite amount of knowledge and resources to share with the world about Drew. That's the simplest answer.
That's the answer. And the thing that's why we decided to do it is because many of those resources are right inside Ashley's brain. And so it was like,
yeah, it's true.
So it was like to be able to recall them. We've also built this massive photo archive. We have our physical collections. And it was kind of like the natural progression of our fandom, which I think we've kind of said before too. So we've had the Drewseum for 17 years now. I think we figured out in January it had been 17 years. So quite some time. We were Drewbies before that for 7-8 years. So we've been loving her, thinking about her, studying her, you know, collecting on her for most of our lives.
Yeah, we like to call ourselves Drew Barrymore historians. That's my new thing I say, because fan just doesn't do it justice.
Yeah, historian is absolutely accurate.
Yeah, and we're like the most qualified people to do this, so why not do it? If somebody had beat us to it, I would have been really upset and been like, darn, we should be doing that. So
and we want to be seen as like that resource.
Yeah.
I mean, for indefinitely. I mean, this is something like it's part of our lives, and I hope that I never lose the passion for it because it's so much fun.
It is.
She's such a fun person to follow.
I know. It's just such like variety, so many years, so many different episodes of her life. Like it's just such a rich like subject to study.
We decided that our joy about like following her was fun enough for us to share with other people.
There you go.
There we go. So that's our kind of, I think that was a fun like question. I think that like, I feel good about that answer because it came very like naturally to us.
Yeah. Okay. Timo submitted another question. Are you planning to have someone on as a guest? Tony was so great. And
Agreed.
yes, we agree. Tony Crago, fantastic guest. That was episode 13. Tony, we could even have on again. We have put the shout out to a couple other people to see if they would like to come on as guests. We haven't had any luck yet for a variety of reasons, but we'll keep trying. We have a list of people we would love to have on.
We were so lucky to have like a few guests like really quickly at the beginning.
I know.
We have a lot of ideas, and we are glad that you've loved our previous guest in Tony. He was a very great guest. I hope that you've listened to the Kim Green episode. Also an amazing guest. Like, we've been very lucky. Our friends on our previous episode, Rachel and Jason, talking about Never Been Kissed. That was so much fun. So yes, we are
Stay
planning
tuned.
to have more guests. Yes. Okay. Next question is from Christian again. He said, "Are you hopeful that Drew is actually listening to the podcast?"
Yeah.
Hopeful, yes. Realistically, I don't know that she is.
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. So Drew did suddenly on Memorial Day. So we were like, oh, her social media girl probably has a day off. This is probably actually Drew. It's our hope. She did view some of our stories for the first time on How Do You Drew, the Instagram.
And what was cool is that the most exciting thing for us, like they were pictures of us, which also felt like weird.
That's right.
We are hopeful. Yes. Do we actually think it could possibly be true? I don't think we could wrap our heads around that until we know for sure from the, what's the phrase I was trying to think of the other day? Is it from the horse's mouth?
Yeah.
Until we hear it from Drew Barrymore, the horse.
This is what I hope she doesn't hear that part. This is what I visualize. And this is my own little fantasy, but my little fantasy, I imagine like a Drew's News segment where Ross brings it up and asks if she's heard about this podcast and her being like, what? And then like realizing, oh, it's the Drewseum. And that's kind of what I see happening, but we'll see.
That would be like best case scenario. I mean, actually best case scenario is that Ross arranges to get us on the show.
Yeah.
We sit in the audience, like not too close. Like we don't want her to actually, I mean, of course I want her to see us, but
we're going to surprise her. I see. Okay.
Yes. So then Ross will know we're there. So like Ross tells her like, have you heard of this podcast called How Do You Drew? Here's some of the topics they've done. And you know, whatever. They also used to run something called the Drewseum. And then Drew's like, I know the Drewseum. And then Ross says, big surprise. Here they are. Ashley and Anne from How Do You Drew? And then
I like how this becomes a wonderful present for Drew, not for us.
Yes, but then because we're so overwhelmed and excited, we explode. And that's the finale of the Drew Barrymore Show.
Are we exploding into like yellow confetti?
Yes.
Okay,
it's
perfect.
a very beautiful explosion.
All right. You heard it here, guys. That's what's going to happen.
Yes. Okay, so last question.
Yeah, last question is from Baco, and he asks, are you going to make a special podcast with video of you making the podcast? And that's so funny that he asked that because we just were talking about that.
Yeah, so we're hoping that in the future we can start to either do some episodes of our podcast where we have video segments, or we're kind of talking about trying to do some social media lives soon.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it'll be before or after this episode comes out, but watch out our Instagram for future, announcements of video versions of the podcast or segments.
It's definitely something we would love to do. We would love to insert the photos that we're always talking about into a video, but it's just a lot of work. And as you know, we're already working real hard on this. So we're not saying no. We'd like to do it.
Yep.
Maybe if we make more money.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, right now we've got like a couple cents coming in from ad revenue.
Yeah.
So we're like keeping the podcast afloat with adrenaline alone.
Yeah. You know what would help to keep this podcast afloat? You guys who are listening, how about you go and leave ratings and reviews for us on your platform, especially Apple, where you can actually write out a review. I think the more we get, the more people will find us, the more we'll be excited to do things like videos.
Master segue.
How about that? Okay. And then also, you guys go find us on Instagram. We're at How Do You Drew Pod. And then we also have at Drewseum, where all of the rest of our Drew content lives.
Yes. And then make sure to visit our website at howdoyoudrew.com to see our episode pages for each episode. Look back, listen to old episodes, check out the episode page because it adds a lot of depth.
Yeah.
Send listener mail to howdoyoudrewpod@gmail.com. As always, I didn't come up with a fun question for the end right now. But
already on the Q&A one, you didn't come up with a question.
I got it.
Okay.
What is the most optimal temperature for you? Exterior and interior.
Okay. Exterior, 85.
Ooh.
I like it hot.
Yeah.
Interior, I like about 78.
Wow, that's warm. I'm going to go ahead and answer mine so you can see how different.
Okay. But also we live in very different climates, but go ahead.
No, but I've always been like, no, when it gets over 80 degrees. So, I mean, right now I'm like trying to figure it out, but I feel like the temperature I like the feeling of the most inside and outside is like in the upper 50s, lower 60s.
Oh my God, Anne. Definitely thought you were going to say higher than that. Wow. That's like my personal hell.
Yeah. And that's like, right now, let me tell you what the temperature is right now before we say goodbye.
Okay. This is hard hitting stuff.
Yeah. In Phillips, Maine on Sunday, June 4th at almost 4 p.m., it's 50 degrees.
Oh my God.
And it's drizzling outside and I've got windows open upstairs.
All right. You're definitely in your happy place. Speaking of the new happy place issue of Drew Magazine, you're there.
Yes, I am. So thank you everybody for tuning in and staying till the very end. And we will see you next Tuesday.
Sounds good. Bye guys.
This episode of the How Do You Drew podcast was researched and produced by Ashley and Anne from thedrewseum.com with help from our sponsor, Positive Medium.
Special thanks to Matt Costa for our lovely theme song, Roxy Prima for our adorable logo, and last but not least, Drew Barrymore and all the Drewbies who love her. We do this for you.
Thank you.